Hello, everyone, and welcome to Visiblepreneur. I've got another nice one for you as always. So today I've have Lori Yancey. She is a hiring badass, and I mean it. She gets those resumes, she gets your profile, and she will shape you up to the person that you're meant to be. And I seriously mean that. So, Lori, why don't you go ahead and tell the viewers what do you do and how do you get started in it?
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Isaiah. I love that.
Mhm.
Sure. So I have had my consulting business now for a couple of years. Um, I decided to follow my passion and do that which I really, really loved, which is help people to identify what their true strengths are and sometimes
Yeah.
even figure out what they're passionate about and to get on that path to doing work that really means something to them and makes them feel valued and fulfilled. I
Hmm.
also spent a lot of time, so I spent about 20 years in corporate America and did a lot of hiring. I led a lot of teams and mentored a lot of people across various levels.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that mentoring piece. And so now that's part of a full time position for me. Now, instead of something that I just do on the side, I help people, coach people, and also for businesses who are looking to hire talent, I can really help them kind of hone in on who would be the right fit for their business.
Yeah, I love that, especially during this time because, uh, people have lost their jobs, and we definitely need to recuperate that back. And I'd say you're the perfect person to help, wouldn't you say?
I well, sure. Out right from your from the horse's mouth right here. Awesome. Take it as gospel truth. I love to help folks, and I think one of the things that sets me apart maybe from some of the other companies that you could hire to work on your resume is that it is a company of one. So what you see is what you get. You'll work directly with me. And I actually interview my clients to make sure that we're a good fit. And I won't take somebody on if I don't think that they are in an industry that I have enough familiarity with to really be able to help them.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. And every time that one of my clients gets a great job, or when I get off the phone interviewing someone, that I'm like, yes, that's the person that they are going to hire. I know I just found the candidate.
Right
I'm doing
on.
a little
Yeah.
happy dance because I mean, I just love it. It's like talent and opportunity matchmaking.
Yeah, I love it. And since you are a business career coach, so what is the process that you're looking for to help that person get to the stable career that they need to be?
Yeah. So for example, if somebody is coming to me for some advice,
Hmm.
um, I work with a lot of folks that are really, they've had a successful career and either they feel like they're stalled out or something's changed. A lot of times management changes or companies are bought out and directions shift and change. I think one of the things that I'm best at doing is listening. I'm going to ask a lot of questions and interview that person to understand how they think and really what it is that they're struggling with right now and the direction that they want to go. And then I think the thing that really is helpful is if a person keeps an open mind
Hmm.
and maybe you've been on a certain path for your career, but if you want to break it down and really think about those things that you're really good at doing, the things that make you happy and that come really easy for you, a lot of times there's a lot of other industries where those skills and abilities and talents can be applied. And so
Oh
I
yeah.
love working with people who have a really open mind.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Um, Now I gotta wonder about this because I've heard
Oh no.
some bad interviews. Like, have you ever witnessed? Have you ever heard someone that obviously they want to go for the interview and either they just look like crap, number one, or they just say, okay, when do I get the job? Can I start now?
Oh, yeah. There've been, yeah, I definitely have got some stories. Yeah, I've got a lot of stories. Let me think. Um, it hasn't happened so much for anyone that I've had as a candidate who's interviewing, but certainly when I have done a phone screen with someone and then they're coming in for the interview, there was one lady that she was just all haphazard and her hair was a mess and her pants were so long they were dragging on the ground and
Sounds like a hippie.
I was like, oh my god, did you sleep in your car? It was just, she was so unprepared. And there was another interview I sat in on where the person cried. So it's just, you kind of see it all. You kind of see it all. And it has left me with saying to my client, the hiring manager,
Yeah.
okay, wow, that didn't happen in the phone screen. I'm sorry. But actually, and I want to make sure that I do say that sometimes to those interviews, I'm so proud of the candidate. They come in and they just knock it out of the park. And I think, yes, you just scored this job. I love it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And that right there is the good news and the bad news about people, so to speak.
Unpredictable, for sure.
Yeah. So what do you look for when you're screening someone to be hired at a certain company, and how do you decide if they're a good fit for them or maybe that's not the right place they need to be?
Yeah. So if I could give some advice to listeners out there watching the video, first and foremost, if there are questions asked as prerequisite questions, answer those questions. So I've been doing some hiring for one company and I'm simply asking, what interests you about this position? And then I'm asking, why do you think that you would be a good fit? And I'm just surprised at the people that don't answer those questions. Because, and here's why. So maybe somebody has been furloughed and they're looking to find something new and different. They're submitting their resume and it might not necessarily be the direct skill and experience that you would typically look for that role. But in those questions, that's where a person has a chance to speak with their voice and talk to me, the recruiter, that I have a lot of experience doing this. I'm looking for something new and different, and I know I can do this if you'll give me a chance. So anytime that someone is really a forward thinking and they use that kind of language, that stands out for me.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's always good to come with a list of questions to know exactly where they stand, especially let's say if somebody goes into a job and they don't know the description of it, the questions will come very handy.
Yes. And so the other thing too, I think when I'm looking at a resume, it's kind of overall, how well is it put together? And I'm not just saying that because I write resumes. I'm saying that because I've done a ton of hiring. And I want to be able to quickly identify the positions that the person's held. What kind of a career path are they looking for? What are they passionate about? And with the different experiences that they've had that they've listed on their resume, it doesn't read like a job description. really tells me about the value that they added while they were there. They broke record sales, or I was the, named rookie of the year, different things. Certainly if there's awards and anything like that, but
Right.
how many team leaders did you hire, or how, sales quotas met, those sorts of stats and value that you can add in there is really going to help me to I want to hire a person that really understands their value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because going from, let's, I may throw this in the perspective, this is different, but going from the job world to entrepreneur, we have to take a whole different path. Whereas, somebody who wants to transition into a job, you know, you got to understand the path that you might have to take. You have to have a nice, strong resume, and obviously you're the person to do it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I really do like writing resumes. And I think the thing for me is when I'm working with a client and we walk through, all right, tell me about this job. What did you love about working at this one? All right, well, what was the reason that you left this one and you took this one? And, sometimes that's just a personal reason and it's not going to be anything we add to the resume. But as I'm talking through it with them, sometimes stuff will come out and say, I was able to work a little more independently over here, or I got to have conversations we met more as a team here and I felt really valued and that like my ideas mattered. And the more that we talk, it just happens that I will see patterns evolve and I'll start to figure out how that person's mind works. And then that starts to click with what would be some good jobs and different kinds of roles for that person. Or do I know some different companies that would have the types of jobs that I think that they would fit with?
Yeah.
It just sort of happens.
Yeah. No, I definitely love that. So the companies, and I know you do work with different companies that, they're like, hey, we need to hire so-and-so, like maybe somebody that's an administrative position for those types. So the companies you work with, obviously they have to stay ahead of their competition because, it's fierce, as we both know. But at times, how is it that you can help a business overcome that?
Oh, that's a great question. So, one of the things that I do include when I'm hiring for a company is that I do a market analysis for them. So, let's say I'm working with an entrepreneur that's got one person on board already and they're doing some of the technical work, but they need more of an office accountant or administrative assistant.
Yeah.
They've got an idea maybe what they think that person's pay should be, but they're not really sure. And so that's where I can go out and I can take a look at really how much competition is out there, how many other companies are hiring for that kind of a role today. And then I also try to really understand not just what their needs would be today, but if this really is a company that's starting to grow, then maybe they need a person that can, yes, do this work for them today, but maybe they've got a little bit of a marketing background as well, so that as they start to grow, they could take on and manage some of the social media for them or marketing sorts of activities. So I think I call that role plus one. When you bring somebody aboard, I would love to think that I'm bringing people onto someone's team to stay with that company and just be part of that company's family for a long time. And so they would grow with the company as well, grow professionally with the company and be able to do more and take on more responsibility.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because like without you, so to speak, the businesses cannot survive. Because it's like, if I have to look for somebody, well, task that to somebody else, and I put my trust that you'll find somebody great, and you do find the bad apples, but there's always the good ones out of the pack.
Oh, yeah. Especially now, there are so many talented people who are looking for opportunities. And I know companies have been a little gun shy, but hiring has picked up because I have several hiring clients right now. And it's always a good time to have your resume updated and be
Absolutely.
ready and have a profile on LinkedIn that's updated as well. And another question that I get a lot from folks that are starting to look for a job after, 12 or 15 or more years at one place, and
Yeah.
now they're looking again. They say, I know so much has changed. A lot of the basic concepts to a resume are the same. It's just that in this digital world today, there are definitely some things that you can do to make it so that you will stand out for some of these automated programs that are going out there and looking for candidates.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's not a bad idea to work with a resume writer today, just to make sure you are up on sort of the new way of doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the market uptrend that's currently happening. And so I remember you said that it's always good to keep your resume up to date. Um, how long do you think an individual like should update their resume? Like give us like a time period and as well as, the skills that they should add on and what do you feel is necessary?
Oh, that's another really good question. I would say it's not so much a time period as any time that there's been a change. So let's say that maybe you've only been at your new job for 6 months, but already they have switched your responsibilities or given you more accounts or something like that. That's a great thing. If you can get in a habit of updating those small changes every time that they happen,
Oh
add
yeah.
that to your resume, then then it's not having to go back and remember, 6 years ago, oh, what was that big project and how much, you know, revenue did we bring in and those types of things. And certainly if you've got a job title change or anything like that, company name changes, that sort of thing, just keep those up to date.
Yes, very important. Um, I would say that I'm pretty bad at that, but my course is different, so I'm not even gonna go there.
Now I'm going to go look you up.
Oh man,
I,
I shouldn't have said that.
I'll help
So,
you out.
all right, yeah, I appreciate it. So, let's say that you have a potential employee that is looking to be hired for another company. Like maybe they've transitioned from, I'm gonna throw this out as example, print and press to truck driver. Um, but maybe on the resume, like the skill set is not close enough. It's like, okay, well, they need to learn how to use a Jake brake. They have to learn how to drive a 12-speed manual transmission for those that are truck drivers. So, what is the level of process that you have to look at to get them to show that, okay, I qualify for that position?
Okay. If I understand what you're asking, I think it is that sometimes when people are looking to change, if they're looking to change jobs,
Yeah.
how do I balance whether or not I'm qualified enough to apply for something that's not an exact match?
Mm-hmm.
And what I would say is that there are hard requirements and then softer requirements. So, a hard requirement in a truck driving type of a position,
Yeah.
you're going to have to be able to have a certain kind of driver's license and certain certifications, and that would also apply for if you're going to sell real estate, you have to have a real estate license and those
Right.
sorts of things. You
Exactly.
kind of, I mean, you really do have to have those things. Something else that would be more on a softer side could be, oh, how many years of experience leading teams? So you might not have been a person that had a title of team lead, but think about all those things that leaders do, and they're the kinds of decisions that they're making, the scope of responsibility that they had, or
Yeah.
they mentor junior members at the company. And so if you can really think about times when you've done those things, then I would say go ahead and apply.
Yeah, no, awesome. I love that. And you know, I know mostly what we talked about here is more for like people that have been in the job world for quite some time, like they're seasoned professionals. So let's say that you have a student that's coming out of college, and oh man, I need to find my first job. They've just graduated, and they're trying to search in their industry. Could you potentially help somebody to say, okay, these are your skills after determining the interview process?
Yeah. So I am always open to coaching because I think I can coach a lot of folks and remember what that's like, not just when I was in their shoes, because that was more years ago than I really want to think about. But when I was in my corporate career, a lot of the recruiting that we were doing was early talent, and I was able to go to a lot of college career fairs, and I
Yeah.
was that person behind the table collecting all those resumes and things. My first piece of advice to anybody that's in college is to get experience, any kind of experience that you can in the field that you're interested in going in while you're in school. If you're paying for schooling and you can get an internship that pays money, then it's worth delaying your graduation date, let's say for a semester, to get a paid internship with a company
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
summer job or something like that, because it's going to give that person a leg up to the competition. And that's probably the most important thing there. And then I think I also coach individuals on understanding that even if you've got internships and I don't know, the lab monitor type of jobs in
Yeah.
school, that go into that interview confident but also humble. You might have more experience than some other college students, your peer group, but
So to speak.
there's still a lot that you don't know. So it's coaching people on how to walk that line and be confident without coming across arrogant and someone that's not going to be coachable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I'm gonna throw this for example. Oh man, there's this one college. I'm not gonna mention the name that I went to, and
To protect the innocent or the
uh,
guilty.
I don't know. I guess to protect like the innocent, because, um, like you said, it's that mindset shift. If there's people that came out of that particular college, and it's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna be the big person now, where I'm gonna be doing such and such, not realizing that, oh, wait a minute, you have to start at the apprenticeship level. And I've heard plenty of people that were already experiencing the industry. They came from that place and they said, all right, I'm ready to work, and they have a nice giant suitcase thinking that, all right, I'm jumping into this position. And they're like, whoa, hold on, you started in the corner. So
You're pushing the mailroom cart.
exactly. And some of them didn't know that.
Oh,
That was the unfortunate part. I've heard so many stories about it. I'm like, oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a experience, and yeah.
That would
So
be unfortunate. Yeah.
absolutely,
Especially if you've spent big dollars to get that education, that would be unfortunate.
of course, and they did. They
Oh
did.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, my background is actually in the sciences, and so I spent a
I
lot of
didn't know
time
that.
in the laboratory. And when I was the lab manager, part of my responsibility was hiring our student workers. And first and foremost, they washed up the dishes and they made solutions and cleaned things up. Sometimes they had to clean out the freezer. I mean, it was those jobs.
And how they
So,
feel about that?
sometimes they appreciated it because they had a lot on their mind and they just needed to do something kind of mindless for a little while. But the ones that really did that well, then graduated to getting to do some experiments and really be kind of an assistant to some of the graduate students working on PhDs and projects. And some of them got their name included on the students' paper when it got so then they walked out, with a publication.
Awesome.
But you didn't walk into the lab week or month number one getting to do those things. You demonstrated that you were a hard worker and earned it.
Yeah, absolutely, because you got to start somewhere.
We all start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So the last question that I want to ask is, how does someone get in contact with you?
Sure. So I do have a website, and that's www.yancey4hire.com, and it's YANCEY, the number 4, hire.com. And out there, you can look at what my services are, and then there's a place where you can contact me and let me know if you're interested in hiring me to help you hire someone, or if you are looking for some help with your job search or coaching through something you're going through at work as an employee or an employer, or if you need a resume.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love that. And Lori, thanks for taking the time to be on this episode of Visiblepreneur. Loved having you on here.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. And thank you. So hope you guys enjoyed that. You'll definitely find us out there on YouTube. We'll be posting some content on Facebook as well. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. There's multiple platforms where you can find us. And you can even Google Visiblepreneur. And we also have some shirts. We have some cups that we've now got. And if you're looking for a face mask, then we have that as well, too.
Yeah, you got it all.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, just about.
Oh, so. I've known this guy for a long time. He is one of the good ones. He's a good guy.
Yeah, thank you. I try.
I love visiting with you today. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yes, and thank you so much for our viewers tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.